There are tears you've never cried. They linger somewhere behind your eyes like storm clouds that never broke. They live in your chest, heavy and quiet, like a grief you never named. Not loud, not chaotic, just unfinished. Maybe you were told it was strength, not crying. Maybe no one ever asked what you were holding. Or maybe you got so used to pretending you were fine that even your own heart started to believe the lie. But there are moments, small, quiet ones, where it all comes rushing back. A smell, a song, a memory, and suddenly your whole body remembers the pain you tried to forget. You pause, you swallow hard, you keep going, and that's the tragedy. Not that you're hurting, but that you never gave yourself permission to break, to fall apart, to feel it all. Because some wounds don't scream, they whisper, and they stay with you. Not because they're strong, but because you never let them leave. This isn't weakness, this isn't failure. This is you, human, soft, alive, aching to be real. And maybe that's why you're here. Not to hear advice, not to fix anything, but to finally admit what you've been carrying. Because deep down, you know, these tears were never meant to be buried. They were meant to cleanse you. So what if this pain, this ache you've never dared to show, is not the end of you, but the beginning? What if the very thing you keep trying to hide is the part of you that's been begging to be healed? You didn't wake up one day and decide to hide. It happened slowly, quietly, like dust collecting on windows you stopped looking through. You were a child once, open, honest, feeling everything in full color. But someone winced when you cried. Someone changed the subject when you shared too much. And you learned to be loved. I have to be less sensitive, less loud, less honest about what hurts. So you built a mask, not the kind people notice, but a subtle one. The smile that says, I'm fine. The nod that says, I agree. The silence that says, I don't need anything. You became what the world accepted. And in the process, you abandoned the parts of you that didn't fit. It's not your fault. We're all taught, in different ways, to suppress. Crying makes others uncomfortable. Vulnerability is too raw. Pain is something to get over, not move through. So now you walk through life in costume. Not dramatic, not fake, just edited. You laugh when you want to cry. You stay strong when you want to collapse. You shrink when something inside you wants to scream. And the world claps for your performance. They call you resilient. They admire your strength. But no one sees the price you're paying to be applauded. You've become a silent actor in a play no one knows they're watching. A glass box around your soul. You can see out, but no one can touch you. You tell yourself it's better this way. Safer. Cleaner. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't risk being judged. You don't burden anyone. But you also don't feel seen. Not really, because no one can truly see you if you never show them who you are. And here's the quiet tragedy. You're not just hiding from others. You've started hiding from yourself. You avoid the mirror. You fill your days with noise. You stay busy, productive, focused, because stillness might bring the very thing you fear most. Emotion. Not just sadness, but the full truth of your being. The grief, the fear, the tenderness that you've buried just to survive. You've confused numbness with peace and silence with healing, but they are not the same. True healing doesn't come from suppressing the storm. It comes from stepping into it, letting it soak you, break you, baptize you. So why are you still holding back? Who told you your tears were dangerous? Who convinced you that softness was shameful? What would happen if you finally let go? You might think you'll fall apart. That once you start crying, you won't stop, that it'll make you weaker. But the truth is, those tears are not the end of you. They are a return to you. They are the breaking of the dam inside your chest. They are the language your soul has been waiting to speak. You've worn the mask long enough, and it did protect you, but now it suffocates you. So maybe today, you don't have to be the strong one. Maybe you don't have to smile through the ache. Maybe you can sit down, breathe, and just feel. No audience, no applause, just you and the truth you've hidden for too long. If no one has ever asked you, let me be the first. What pain have you been holding back? What tears never got the chance to fall? Write it below, not for likes, not for replies, but because maybe, just maybe, this is the first time someone will truly see you. Pain doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just stays, quiet, patient, waiting for the moment you're finally still enough to feel it. There are memories that don't leave, even after years. Not because they're loud, but because you never got to finish them. You moved on, sure, but something inside didn't. A part of you got stuck in that goodbye, that betrayal, that lonely night you told no one about. We all carry moments like this, not dramatic, but defining. Moments that whispered, "You're not enough. You don't matter. You're too much." And we believed them, not because they were true, but because no one was there to tell us otherwise. So we adapted, we hardened, we became strong, but not whole, productive, but not present, survivors, but not ourselves. And deep beneath the roles we play, the identities we built, there's still a child inside, not broken, just unheard. Can you feel them? That younger version of you, still waiting to be held, still hoping someone would say, "It's okay to feel this. It's okay to not be okay." But the world moves fast, and pain, when ignored, becomes subtle. It shows up as numbness, as fatigue that sleep can't fix, as a tightness in your chest when everything's supposedly fine. You scroll, you work, you keep going, because stopping would mean feeling, and you're not sure you're ready for that. But maybe you are, because something brought you here, to this space, to this moment, to this quiet invitation. What if your pain is not your enemy, but your mirror? In Buddhist experience, suffering isn't a punishment. It's not a failure. It's a call to return, not to who you were before the pain, but to the deeper self that pain is trying to reveal. There's a wisdom in sadness, a truth in grief, a clarity that only comes when everything else falls away. Because when the tears come, truly come, they don't just release emotion, they reveal truth. You see who you miss. You feel what you long for. You remember what matters. Pain carves us, not to wound, but to deepen, like rivers shaping stone, like fire purifying gold. And in that carving, you meet yourself, raw, honest, alive. This is not romantic. This is not poetic grief. This is the real work of sitting with your ache, not judging it, of holding your fear, not fixing it, of feeling the tears rise and letting them fall. And here's the paradox. The more you let yourself fall apart, the more whole you become. Because your soul doesn't want perfection. It wants presence. It wants your attention, your honesty, your tears. Yes, your tears. Not hidden, not justified, not wrapped in explanation. Just felt, just seen, just released. So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly cried? Not out of frustration, not because you had to, but because something in you said, this hurt deserves to be heard. Because maybe that's the shift. Your tears are not the breakdown, they're the breakthrough. And you don't need to keep holding them back. You don't need to be the one who always keeps it together. It's safe now, safe to feel, safe to let go, safe to come home to yourself. Letting go is not forgetting. It's not pretending you were never hurt. It's not becoming cold or untouchable. Letting go is soft. It's the quiet moment when you stop clenching your fists, when you stop holding your breath, when you stop trying to rewrite the past in your mind over and over. It's not a grand declaration. It's an exhale, a whisper, a surrender that sounds like silence. We often think we need to be stronger, to hold it together, to carry more. But maybe real strength is learning to carry less, to walk lighter, to stop dragging what no longer serves who you are becoming. Because here's the truth. You can't fully step into your life if your hands are still holding the weight of your pain. It's like trying to run with your arms full of broken glass. Every step cuts deeper, but the moment you let go, the bleeding stops. Not because the pain never happened, but because you're no longer gripping it so tightly. And maybe that's what healing really is. Not erasing the past, but releasing your contract with it. You're allowed to drop the storyline. to stop replaying the scene, to stop waiting for the apology that may never come. You're allowed to feel the sadness without needing to fix it, to cry without needing a reason, to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you do, because holding on is exhausting. It drains your joy, it steals your present, it clouds the beauty in front of you. The past is heavy. But you were made to move, to breathe, to feel the wind again. In Buddhism, we speak of non-attachment, not as indifference, but as freedom. You let go, not because it didn't matter, but because it mattered too much to keep carrying it like poison. You free yourself to feel again, not just pain, but love, peace, wonder. You open space for new stories, new breath, new moments. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a river. You've carried a bag of stones for so long, you forgot what it feels like to stand tall. But now, you begin to drop them, one by one, not out of anger, not out of denial, but because your soul is tired of the weight. With every stone you say, "This is no longer mine to carry." I release what hurt me, not because it was okay, but because I need to be okay. I choose peace, even if closure never came. And something shifts. Your shoulders relax, your breath deepens, your eyes open wider. You feel the current of life again, not pulling you under but carrying you forward. This is the paradox. The more you try to control, the more you suffer. But the moment you let go, you return to flow. And in that flow, you rediscover something sacred. Your truth was never in the story of what happened. It's in how you choose to walk forward, lighter, freer, more alive. Because healing isn't about becoming someone else. It's about removing what was never yours to hold in the first place. So ask yourself, what are you still gripping that's already gone? What old story keeps playing in your mind, stealing today's breath? Who would you be if you stopped trying to be understood and simply chose to be? You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to be ready. You just need to loosen your grip. Let the tears fall. Let the weight drop. Let the river carry what your heart no longer needs. And in that letting go, you don't disappear. You return to yourself, to peace, to now. Not everything that hurts needs to be solved. Some things just need to be seen, felt, held with tenderness and no demand for resolution. You've spent so long trying to fix your sadness, trying to outthink it, outrun it, outgrow it. But what if healing is not a destination, but a willingness to sit with what is? Not to fight, not to figure it out, just to be. There is a moment after the tears when everything goes still. You're not broken, you're not whole. You just are, breathing, existing, alive in the quiet aftermath of release. That stillness, that fragile silence. It's not emptiness, it's presence. It's what's left when the noise fades, when the storm calms, when you stop trying to become someone else and simply rest in the truth of who you already are. In the Buddhist path, we return to this over and over. Now is enough. This breath, this heartbeat, this tender ache in your chest. It's not a flaw, it's a signal. You're alive, you feel, you care, and maybe, just maybe, you don't need to keep holding yourself together. Maybe the cracks are where the light meets you. Maybe your tears didn't weaken you. They softened you, made space in places you didn't know were clenched shut. Because there is a kind of peace that comes only after you've surrendered. Not out of defeat, but out of honesty. You stopped pretending, stopped performing, stopped holding back the truth your body had known all along. And here, in this softness, you meet yourself. Not the version you show the world, not the curated, calm, smiling self, but the real you, the trembling, healing, feeling self that has always deserved to be loved, exactly as you are. So maybe this is it. Not a lesson, not a breakthrough, just a return to now, to breath, to the simple miracle of not having to carry so much anymore. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to wrap it in meaning. Just feel the floor beneath you, the inhale, the exhale. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the silence wrap around you like a blanket. No striving, no fixing, just being. And if the tears come again, let them. Let them remind you you're still healing, still human, still home. Because maybe the thing you've been needing all this time was never a solution, but a pause, a space, a moment where nothing is expected of you but to feel and be felt. So breathe, not to calm down, not to meditate, just to remember, you are here, you are whole, you are enough, and maybe, just maybe, everything you've been running from was never meant to be escaped, only embraced. What if the most courageous thing you could do right now is nothing? What if everything you need to heal is already inside you, waiting for you to stop running and sit beside it? What if the tears you feared the most were the ones that could set you free?